very good evening to you traders. This is Mark here. Very quiet summer trade across the board. There's a few things that are standing out. Let's run through. I'm still waiting for this yen to break through decisively. This 10, actually it's 170. I've got my alert at 65. We had a little probe of it today. Look at the 5 minute. We had a little probe of it today, but no follow through. There's just no volume around anywhere at the moment. There's little pockets of volume in specific stocks, but not much across the board. I've got my alert there. I'm still waiting for us to break that. If we break that, same thing again. I feel like a bit of a broken record saying it, but I'm not going to jump the gun on it. We may not break it, but if we do and we get a consolidation below, then I'm looking for the short. Keltner channel is widening up, so the longer we consolidate down here, the bigger the target really for the exit on the short trade. So yeah, and let's have a look. I'm not going to bother looking at the Dow, not much has gone on there, and the DAX are all just flying high, chugging along very nicely. Twitter, another huge move on Twitter today. A massive run up since the earnings. That's had a really good run. A lot of move on that. 7% up on the day. It's got to be one to be buying on pullbacks. I think I don't want to chase it, but it's definitely a pullback buy. Similarly, if you look at that JC Penney, if you watched the video from a while ago, talked about an earnings trade on that. It didn't quite set up technically as we laid out. It was looking for a breakout of this range here, buying a breakout of this red line that I've got on the chart here. But I'm going to look for a pullback on that. Maybe put in something like a 5 period moving average, because there's a big short float on this, if you recall. And this could have a long way to run if it gets going, and we're coming up to some serious resistance at that level there. Another one to mention was Boohoo. It's just motoring on as we pretty much predicted on that, but I'm not in. I'm waiting for a pullback. Like I say, I'm not chasing things like this. Massive move on it, but it needs to pull back a bit. Volume is very thin on this one, and you don't want to be caught on a vicious pullback. So a couple on the watch list. I've not done much. I've still got this longer term short on Weight Watchers, which is doing not a lot. I really wanted to see it break that 10. This is, by the way, it's via a put option. So, but for spread betting wise, I'm going to hit it again if we can break below this 10, and just try and get a little bit of a trade to fill that gap. You see that gap over from the Oprah gap, as I call it. That's definitely in play. So loads of things out there that I've got alerts set on. Apart from that, I'm just respecting that it's the middle of August. Everyone's on holiday. All the hedge fund managers are out of the office. No one's doing any business. And just respecting that and just saying, I got my alerts in. Be very, very careful about the levels I want to get involved in, because the last thing you want to do is get involved in something when it appears like it's about to do something and break out and start running, and then it just dies a death and just drifts back, and you're just long on it. So definitely that's my number one thing to avoid over the summer period, is if it's something I want to get involved in, it's only at my price or nothing at all, or it's got to have a level cleared. There's so many criteria that I've got to have checked off before I'm even slightly thinking of getting involved in it while the volume is low, and that'll keep me safe. And I think that's a good way to preserve your capital at the end of the day. If the price isn't the price you want, there's no point in getting involved. That's the beauty of being an own independent trader. So there's just a couple of things, not much on the books. Let's have a little quick look at cable, because I know that's coming up to our key level. It's really just grinding lower. Look at this. It's just coming up to that huge level we've got on the chart. Again, I've got my alert set on that. I want to see it break and hold and then consolidate, rather than taking the initial break in this low volume environment, unless we get something. We've got some data coming out of the week that causes that volatility spike, and that's slightly different because there may be a day trade based on using that pocket of volume and volatility to profit from, and then coming out quickly as soon as the volatility contracts or the volume contracts. So it's playing it safe at the moment. It's not very exciting, but in a day, capital preservation, just picking your spots, grabbing a little bit of cash here and there, is the way forward for me at the moment, until we can see a bit of a broader pickup across the board. All right, guys, take care. Back tomorrow.